It is essential to be up to date on happenings around you, and to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Freshlight, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. It is a lovely Monday morning, the beginning of another beautiful week, the 24th day in the month of April 2023, and you're welcome to Freshlight, everything fresh right here on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. And this morning we'll take you, though there is still public holiday today, but you know how it is a duty, and we are always committed to give you and keep you abreast of happenings around you. And so we'll go through different newspapers this morning and see what is happening and what is going on to keep you abreast while you are relaxing, at home. So welcome once again to Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. My name is MODUPE. AKINYOSOYE. With me this morning, I have a couple of newspapers. I have the Daily Independent newspaper, I have the Daily Trust newspaper, I have the Punch newspaper with me, and I also have Nigerian Tribune. We'll quickly go through the different headlines we have in the front pages of the newspapers and give you some short story about the headlines. From the Daily Independent, we'll start with the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. From the front page of Daily Independent, we have rising inflation may hamper incoming government economic plan. Also from the front page, we have the story, I won't forget Ganduje's support for my ascending Kano throne, says Bayero. And the rest of that story will be found on page 29 of Daily Independent. Away from that, from the Metro story, 7 die, 14 injured in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway accident, and that story will be found on page 7, I beg your pardon, on Daily Independent newspaper. Also from the Daily Independent, Serap gives Buhari 7 days to probe missing 149 million barrels of oil. And away from that, Buhari must account for killing of Nigerians by X-Men. Hudiwa revealing that, and the rest of that story is in page 2 of the Daily Independent. Don't allow politics to divide us, Obi tells Muslim faithful. And also from the front page, another 3-story building collapses in Lagos. That Metro story will be found on page 6 of the Daily Independent. And away from Nigeria, a foreign story that appeared on the front page of Daily Independent on Sudan crisis, remain indoors, federal government tells Nigerian student. Page 7 has the rest of our story. And also Zamfara, government restate Emir suspended for banning bandit leader. That's from page 6 of Daily Independent. Civil servant commend Buhari overpayment of peculiar allowance. That's also on page 6 of Daily Independent. I'm quickly going through one or two stories. From the Daily Independent, Obiano felicitates Muslims, urges unity among Nigerians. Former governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, has felicitated with Nigerians and a Muslim Umar on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. Obiano, in a Salah goodwill message, charged Nigerians, especially Muslims, to pray for unity to achieve progress and economic stability. He said, and I quote, the Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr season symbolize faith, prayer, and charity, as Islam encourages unity, I use the occasion to urge the Muslim faithful in Nigeria to be steadfast in working and praying for the peace, unity, and progress of our beloved country. And he called on the populace to renew their faith in a united Nigeria, saying the country has already come a long way in the effort towards stability. The rest of that in Daily Independent newspaper with the headline Obiano felicitates Muslims and urges unity among Nigerians. And also from the Daily Independent newspaper, Serap gives Buhari 7 days to probe missing 149 million barrels of oil. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to set up a presidential panel of inquiry to promptly probe the grim allegations that over 149 million barrels of crude oil are missing, as documented in the 2019 audited report by the Auditor General of the Federation and Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. And the organization gave President Buhari 7 days. Otherwise, it shall take all appropriate legal actions to compel the government to comply with their request. And Serap also urged him to ensure the effective prosecution of anyone suspected to be responsible for the plundering of the country's oil wealth and the full recovery of any proceeds of crime. Serap gives the Buhari 7 days to probe missing 149 million barrels of oil. That's the headline from Daily Independent newspaper. And also from the Daily Independent newspaper, I have this one here. APC dissolves campaign council, the presidential campaign council. The All Progressives Congress has dissolved its presidential campaign council, inaugurated in 2022 for the 2023 presidential election. And in a statement on Saturday, jointly signed by the Director General of the APC PCC, Governor Simon Bako Lalong, and the Council Secretary James Abiodun Faleke. The party, on behalf of the Chairman of the Presidential Campaign Council, President Muhammadu Buhari, the President-elect Bola Tinubu, and other leaders, thanked all council members, leaders, and supporters for working seriously for the resounding victory of the President-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. The rest of that in the Daily Independent newspaper. You see that with the headline APC dissolves Presidential Campaign Council. Quickly away from the Daily Independent newspaper, let's see some of the other news we have in the Daily Trust newspaper. From the front page of Daily Trust newspaper, federal government evacuation of stranded Nigerians. Federal government begins evacuation of stranded Nigerians tomorrow. And also from the front page, we have Tinubu returns today amid the National Assembly leadership contest. And as Buhari's tenure ends, auto policy remains elusive. Also from the front page, you see the headline, Matawale reinstates, Emir suspended for Tabaning bandit leader. That's also appearing. And hunger, sickness, eats Niger IDP scammed. Away from that, we also have this statement credited. I will follow Yaradua's steps to actualize Katsina people's mandate. Rather, revealing that also from the front pages. And let's see, also from the front page, we have man killed trying to settle quarrel over urinating point. And taking some of the stories from Daily Trust newspaper. Okay, from the education sector, we have an update right here from the Daily Trust that says JAM postpones direct entry registration till after census. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has announced that it is postponing the continuation of its direct entry registration scheduled to close on April 20, but was extended by 1 week to May 6, when the 2023 UTME and the national census exercise would have ended. And JAM spokesperson Fabian Benjamin, in a statement yesterday, said this was to accommodate the conduct of the board's Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination built to start on April 25 and end on May 3, while the national census is scheduled to start on May 3 and end on May 5. It said candidates desiring to register for the direct entry exercise should ensure to obtain their direct entry e-pins from designated vending outlets on or before April 30, when e-pin vending would be closed. The rest of that update is from the Daily Trust newspaper with the headline JAMB postpones direct entry registration till after census. Away from that, we also have this story from the health pages of Daily Trust, revealing that nurses and midwives lament exclusion from 40% pay rise. The National Association, Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Federal Health Institutions sector has decried exclusion, of its members from the recent 40% pay rise for federal workers. The association expressed its displeasure in a statement issued by Mr. Morakinyo Olajide Rewan, the national chairman sector, to the news agency of Nigeria, NEN, yesterday. And Rewan said the attention of nurses and midwives in FHI of Nigeria had been drawn to the commencement of 40% peculiar allowance pay rise for workers in the federal government establishment with outright exclusions of its members, and he described the exclusion as an aberration, an attempt to cause problems in the system. The rest of that lamentation is from the Daily Trust. You see with the headline, nurses and midwives lament exclusion from 40% pay rise. Also from the Daily Trust, we have taking us to Imo State on Imo killings. Reenact your fighting spirit, PSC tells police officers. Chairman, Police Service Commission, Solomon Arashe, yesterday charged officers of the Nigerian police force to bring to book all the marauding gunmen that killed their colleagues in Imo State. He said the commission was very sad over the killings of 5 personnel of the force attached to Imo State by gunmen. And Daily Trust had reported how 5 police officers and a couple identified as Mr. and Mrs. Unwagu during an attack at Opala community in Ugo Opala local government area were murdered by gunmen. And speaking through the spokesman of the PSC, Kechukwani Arase, commiserated with the families of the deceased officers and the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba. The rest of that from the Daily Trust as well, with the headline on Imo killings, reenact your fighting spirit, PSC tells police officer. And moving away to Daily Trust newspaper, let's quickly see what is going on in the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. From the front page of Nigerian Tribune, we have a couple of news right here on speakership slot. Tinubu's romance with PDP and MPP leaders threatens opposition gang up, with a rider that reviews the minority caucuses awaits APC's zoning arrangement. You get the rest of that story from page 22 of Nigerian Tribune. Bandits releases 4 Kebbi school girls after 22 months in captivity. That story is on page 27 of Nigerian Tribune. 7 burnt to death, 14 injured in Lagos Ibadan Expressway accident. That's also the Metro News from page 27 of Nigerian Tribune. Lagos government blames developers. Another 3-story building collapses in Apapa. That's also resurfacing in the front page of Nigerian Tribune, and the rest of our story will be found on page 3 of the Nigeria Tribune. Also from the front page, Adamawa supplementary election. FCID commences full investigation, and as double riders from the front page, someone suspended REC and others extends investigation to DSS and civil defense. That's also on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Also from the front page, we have this story also gets in its headline in the front page. Nurses, midwives lament exclusion from 40% pay rise for federal government workers. You get that story from page 2 of Nigerian Tribune. Publish probe report on 52 billion naira special works program supervised by Keyamo Atiku's aid task NAS. That's from page 3 of Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu to arrive in Nigeria today. That's from page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And quickly taking one or two stories from Nigerian Tribune. From Nigeria Tribune, okay, we have Tinubu returns to Nigeria today, and the story is revealing here that the secretary of the disbanded All Progressive Congress Presidential Campaign Council, that's the APC PCC, Honorable James Faleke, has announced plans to receive President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the country on Monday. And Faleke, in a message on Twitter handle of the Tinubu support group, disclosed that Senator Tinubu and his wife, Remi Tinubu, would land at the presidential wing of the International Airport, Abuja, on Monday. Party chieftains and faithful willing to welcome the president-elect were advised to arrive at APC campaign office at 12 noon to join a bus that would convey them to the airport. The rest of that definitely you'll find in the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu returns to Nigeria Monday, says Faleke. And away from that, we also have the World Bank's project. Project 13 million more Nigerians will fall below poverty line by 2025. The World Bank, in its macro poverty outlook for Nigeria, April 2023, stated that about 13 million Nigerians would fall below the national poverty line by 2025, and these, according to the Bretton Woods Institution, is due to the country's population growth outpacing poverty reduction. And the Nigeria National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) in its 2022 multidimensional poverty index survey stated that 63% of persons living within Nigeria are multidimensionally poor. World Bank projects 13 million more Nigerians will fall below poverty line by 2025. Just quickly perusing the Punch newspaper, that's the last newspaper I have for today. From the front page, I have Sudan conflict. Government seeks Egypt support to rescue 5,500 Nigerians by road. Also from the front page of the Punch, Tinubu may return today to meet APC National Working Committee. You find the rest of that from page 14. 2 children, 5 others burned to death in Lagos about a highway crash. The Metro story from page 4 of the Punch. Lagos state government blames developers as another 3-story building collapses. Also from page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Also from the front page, Nigeria's indebtedness to World Bank now 6 trillion naira. You get that business story from page 21 in the Punch newspaper. Police launch manhunt for fleeing Adamawa wreck. Also, that will be found on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. NLNG train 7 representative Samon Dewo Sapien over workers' petition. Also, that's from the front page. Just quickly taking one or two stories from the Punch newspaper on the Sudan conflict. We have the headline here: government seeks Egypt support to rescue 5,500 Nigerians by road. The federal government is making preparations to evacuate about 5,500 stranded Nigerians out of Sudan through the Egyptian town of Luxor, and it was gathered that the federal government was seeking Egypt's support so that the stranded Nigerians could be moved to Luxor. Sudan conflict: government seeks Egypt's support to rescue 5,500 Nigerians by road. And also from the Punch newspaper, the Metro pages, I have a story right here that is revealing Lagos man stabbed neighbor to death over parking space. Men of the Lagos State Police Command have arrested a 41-year-old man, Tolulokwe Olowo, for allegedly stabbing his 33-year-old neighbor, simply identified as Pablo, to death. He and Pablo, both residents of First Unity Estate, Lagos State, reportedly had an altercation on a parking space on their street and a misunderstanding, despite efforts by co-resident to settle it degenerated into a fisticuff during which Olowo reportedly stabbed Pablo to death. And the State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Benjamin Udein, confirmed the incident to the news agency of Nigeria on Sunday. The rest of that from the Metro page. Lagos man stabs neighbor to death over parking space. From that Metro story, we'll take a bow right here on Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. That'll be all this beautiful morning. Definitely Freshlight will continue tomorrow same time on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Make sure that you follow, you comment, and of course you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. My name is MODUPE AKINYOSOYE. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Good morning.